Yes, hello, welcome back friends to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. What's going on? I know I've reactivated amphibian newt mode because I've shaved my face and I look much younger. Today, we are discussing the fallout in Strasbourg with Emmanuel Omega. Silly articles talking about Noni Madueke, were we mistaken to let him go? Oh, he's so good. Oh, everyone loves Madueke now. He's in an Arsenal shirt. Chelsea have signed bad players. We're going to speak about that, react to that as well. And of course, Bayern Munich, Mein Bruders and Schwesters. We're playing them and we're going to look at how they slapped up Hamburg. Heck, they ate Hamburger. For 5 goals, and we'll talk about how we'll line up and how we'll take the power back, regain the narrative as what is a good and great and developing team in Chelsea. It's going to be a lovely video. It's a cozy day here in the kingdom. I've got my hoodie on, I've got my beanie on, I've stuck the Yannick, I suppose... what's it called? Foot card? Yeah, left forward, 87 rated. Tell you what, we could do with that at the moment. Neto on the left, Neto on the right, Yanni on the left, Palmer in the 10, Joao Pedro up top, Stevao coming off the bench, or will he start against Bayern Munich? We're going to talk about all of it today, so it's going to be great. It really is. Welcome back, friends. If you want to show your support to the content, you can do so easily by liking and subscribing. Many of you are devoted fans of the channel, the GOAT Gang, and I'm very grateful to each and every one of you, and for those of you who do share the video and do all those lovely things. And also, of course, there is the hype point ability. Some of you keep asking me how you do it. I've seen it on my mobile. You watch the videos, comments, you swipe across, and then you can hype the video. And apparently it helps me out. So yeah, thank you for that. Alright, should we let's talk about this Strasbourg situation. They won again. They are doing quite well. They're of course on a European tour in the Conference League. There's a good feeling and they're very young. So I think they're the youngest team in Europe. Like, we're the second youngest and they're the youngest. Certainly that was the case last season in Europe's top 5 leagues. So of course we've agreed to sign Emmanuel Omega. He did media with Chelsea, holding up the shirt. I understand totally if you're a Strasbourg fan. You're like, what? You know, like, we know they go to Chelsea, these players, but like, why in the middle of the season is our captain? He is the captain and number 10, the striker, doing this. You could do it a little bit more delicately and gently, and the ultras aren't happy. And I'm slowly warming up, so I'm going to take my hoodie off, and just like that, outfit change. Yeah, man, look. I am not going to go beat this drum or dead horse. Don't beat dead horses. I'm not going to go over this again, but I totally understand any Strasbourg fan that will continue their position to be upset about the ownership of Chelsea. Or even if it's just on like a philosophical basis, you don't want to be owned by someone else. The ultras don't like it. It would seem they would rather be in the lower divisions in big financial trouble rather than be in this position owned by Chelsea, which is absolutely fine. If, you know, football is a game of opinions. Lee Maresca came out because there was banners against Omega for you know, telling him to like give his armband back, and he's like Blueco's dog or something. I can't remember, something derogatory. The players came out and defended him. You know, you got Diego Moreira doing interviews afterwards, once of Chelsea, Diegzi, great vibes. Fluent, his French is fantastic as well. Apparently there is similarities to Portuguese, which I don't see as someone who speaks a bit of French, but, you know, quel dommage, c'est un grand dommage. He kept saying it was a big shame. Lee Maresca did an excellent speech about defending his players, saying that we're doing great, we're in Europe, support the team, and this is just a minority. And I did a little bit of snooping, and this is related to Chelsea, so just, you know, I'll be 30 more seconds and we'll move on. I did a little bit of a snooping on social media. And a lot of Strasbourg fans, dare I say, a strong majority are not happy with how the Ultra boys, the Ultra group, have responded. And they're actually quite happy with how things are going. at Strasbourg. They're excited to be playing in Europe. And, you know, maybe they're more inclined to accept players come, players go, if the team, if the feeling, if the fans can enjoy success together. But, yeah, I get it, but, you know, it's a delicate subject. Right. Sky Sports. Those guys. Arsenal's Noni Madueke. Were Chelsea right to allow the winger to join the Gunners after his impressive start to the season? Now, there has been a collective footballing media circle jerks around Noni Madueke, if you excuse the phrase. That's an appalling thing to say, I apologise. But, you know, let's keep it in. Yeah, look, everyone's talking about, oh, Noni's playing well. By the way, yeah, I ain't got any beef with Madueke. I've got no axe to grind with him. He's come from Tottenham Academy. He joined Chelsea. He said Chelsea are the best team in, like, London. London is blue, yada, yada, yada. So he's got Tottenham. He's nailed his colours to the mast, saying Chelsea is blue. He hopped off to Arsenal with the first chance he had. It's just courage. It's nothing like. He's not. We've already known he's not like Tottenham through and through, and this, that, and the other. He's just career driven, and I don't think he's like snaked anyone. I think he's just doing his thing. As an England fan, I'm pleased he's playing well for England. We need better, options like that, and 52 million quid. It's funny how the script got flipped so much. No to Madueke trending on social media. Murals being mutilated in North London of Arteta saying, Arteta out, and all because they signed Noni Madueke. And it's a bit silly, really. I think most Arsenal fans were like, that's a silly overreaction. And yeah, I get it, 52 million quid. I was like, what? That's a lot of money for Noni. Especially considering for Arsenal, who don't need him. They need a backup for Saka, and they've got an absolute superstar backup in Noni in terms of being a deputy. Saka is better than Madueke, guys. Every Arsenal fan will tell you that. That's the truth. So they've got an incredible backup. Eze is a better player than Noni Madueke, so Eze is starting on the left. So there you go. So he's not like this. To pay 52 million for an ostensibly a rotation player, I thought was a lot. But this story on Sky Sports, is coming in the wake of essentially a bad performance from Jamie Gittins on the left-hand side of Garnacho. We haven't seen Garnacho play. Of course, Garnacho let his man go at Brentford, so the offside equaliser could be scored. And but you know what? You know why they're all right? And I tell you what, they've included it in this picture. The guy on the right-hand side. And to be honest, I think this is one of the reasons Noni went running. Because he saw generational talent, Steva Willian, coming. And it might be a little bit churlish of me, but I do think it's true, or at least it's coming to pass more and more, because Noni had a good playing relationship with Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer did get frustrated with him a few times towards the end of them playing together, but of course they played at youth level at England under 21s and all that kind of stuff. But we've seen Steva and Palmer immediately have like a really good synergy on the football pitch, really good like understanding, and in terms of right-sided players, Pedro Neto just simply is better than him and started over him. I know everyone's got a freaking so-and-so for Noni at the moment. Great, but the truth is, he's 2 years his senior, so he's 25, he's still entering his prime, Neto, he's in his prime now. He's simply going to just always start over you while he defends better. He works really hard, Neto. He defends better. He's got sort of like a manager's dream in that sense. And then you've got the mercurial superstar talent of Steva coming through as well. That's why Chelsea were right to sell Noni Madueke for £52 million. A huge profit. Of course, Noni was playing a little bit on the left, but you don't... Noni out of position on the left is great. It helps you out, but he's not the solution. So we are looking for solutions, and so far it was both featured in that ultimately underwhelming result at Brentford in Garnacho and Gittins. I must say, so far, I'm a little bit disappointed in how undercooked Gittins looked, But we're just going to have to, he's still so young, and we're just going to have to wait for those raw materials to come together. Can I be real? I don't necessarily want Garnacho to be Chelsea's starting first choice left winger. Maybe he becomes that, and if he becomes that superstar, I would enjoy it long term, because it means we've got one over seriously on Man United. And he's so young, he's like 21 still. So if he realises his potential, Garnacho, and starts balling out, great. But for the moment, if that's the plan, I'm a little bit concerned. That's why I reacted yesterday to the Yildiz transfer rumours, and then perhaps there's still a chance that that first choice left winger is still purchased. I don't know. We'll use the sample size of this season in both of the Champions League, the Premier League, and the Cups, and learn fully if these players can do it. Like say Gittins, right, gets loads of chances at Chelsea. He's played so much for Dortmund. He scored in the Champions League. He scored against Bayern Munich, by the way, last season. Something to think about. If we're right, he cost a lot of money again, 50 million quid. Yeah, we spent the Noni. It's like for like in terms of spending, in terms of selling Noni, buying Gittins. Maybe Gittins is slightly cheaper. I don't know, but similar, very very similar. If he gets to the end of the season, of course Gittins is younger as well. He's 3 years younger than Madueke. But let's say if he gets to the end of the season and we're right, we can see these raw materials. We're happy you're on the books for 7 years as a Chelsea player because we think you're a talent that could seriously be recognised in the next few years. But you're not doing it for Chelsea right now. They do some sort of Andre Santos, Georgi Petrovic loan to Strasbourg for him to realise his potential again. Or even a different club in Europe, and I don't know. We'll have to see what happens, but I just wanted to address this silly Madueke narrative. Yeah, Chelsea sell the players that will do well, yeah? I mean, Kovacic has been useful for City. I'd say definitely worth the 30 million quid, even though he's been injured quite a lot. He's definitely worth it. Mason Mount, it's only the injuries that have stitched him up for Man United. Mason Mount is a £60 million player, 55 rising to 60, what we sold him for. He's worth that. If Chelsea knew he was injured or had these injury problems, they'd be like, bloody hell, we've got loads of money from, this injury Mason Mount. It's like Torres going to Chelsea. Liverpool sort of knew, he's not the same player. If Chelsea knew that, then yes, they're laughing at that 55. But Chelsea could show the data of Mason Mount to Man United and look at, first player to get double digits for goals and assists in the Premier League since Eden Hazard. And he's not as an attacking player as Hazard. Can play in functional midfield roles. Speaks to the press excellently. Mason Mount, ladies and gentlemen, he's worth that money, So I'm not. I mean, I hated the whole home mate Man United with his old man. Do one, he's gone. Don't miss him. But you still need to look at the data, yeah. And that's what Chelsea did with Madueke. And they're selling to their rivals. They did the same with Havertz. I think we've done very well out of Arsenal. Madueke, 52 million I don't think they were ripped off of either. I mean, to be honest, the Kai Havertz thing's peculiar because there wasn't a bidding war to get £68 million for Kai Havertz. And in terms of how they're utilising him as a striker who sort of gets a few goals, it was probably an inflated fee. So we've done well out of Arsenal. We sell them players that we know will make them better, but maybe isn't the holy grail to making them complete, if that makes sense. Anyway, that's enough of Madueke. Alright, so we're playing Bayern Munich, yeah? Should we preview this game? Disclaimer, I am recording this before any press conference, so Maresca might go, Cole Palmer's, touch wood, this never happens, has had a horrible injury and he's going to be out forever. Oh, didn't mean to transition there. I don't know what, or Levi Colwell's been blessed by a religious saint and he's suddenly fully fit and good to go and his ACL just, rebuilt out of stem cells but not injected from a cow, whatever that story was from Mudryk. So, I don't know, but I'm going to speculate to a degree and I think I'll be able to guess the lineup. But firstly, let's look at this. This is Bayern Munich, yeah? This is last time out. They ate 5 hamburgers. Sorry, they beat Hamburger 5. Why is it is Hamburg, isn't it? Why is it Hamburger? Sounds a bit silly. Anyway, Bayern Munich 5, Hamburger 0. Serge Gnabry scored. Pavlovic Harold Kane got a brace. He had 2 big bites of the hamburger, and Luis Diaz as well, who's starting to chip in with the goals now as well, which they'll be pleased about. They lined up a little something like this. Oh yeah, Elise's there. Oh, he's gonna dunk on us, isn't he? Elise and freaking Nico Jackson, almost certainly. Neuer's still knocking about. When's he gonna get replaced? Lema, Upamecano, Jonathan Tah, Stanislic, got Pavlovic and Kimmich in midfield. Gnabry playing in the number 10, probably swapping with Elise, I reckon. Diaz, of course, is that natural left winger, and Kane up front. Kane will be loving the fact that he could score against a high-profile Prem team. Of course, Nico Jackson made his debut, as you can see here on the left-hand side. He came on and played. He won't start, I don't think, against Chelsea, but you could put the freaking farm on him coming on to play Chelsea and doing absolutely everything he can dream of to dunk on us and score, of course. Right, so you're going to build a lineup. I'm using FOTMob, but this is quite fun, actually, to do it. So let's bring on Sanchez in goal. Robert Sanchez, here he is. Hi, guys. Oh, there he is. He's played quite well recently, to be fair to him. Cucurella, you can put the farm and your grandmother on him starting. Absolutely obvious. Let's just do the obvious ones. Caicedo. There's no chance Moises Caicedo doesn't start this game. He's so important, despite him maybe being a bit tired after his international break and looked a little bit lacking sharpness in terms of obviously scored the wonder goal. But I do think maybe, I mean, look, every player would have been champing at the bit to make sure they're ready for this game. Similarly, Enzo Fernandez, he's a divisive figure in terms of, I think everyone agrees that his numbers have been excellent, or much, much better in the last 12 months in terms of goals and assists. Maresca keeps talking about how he sees him as an attacking midfielder. I think a lot of people agreed his on-field general open play performances have been below par at the beginning of the season. I wouldn't be too worried. I think he's going to pick up. Now, look, there could be some sort of, like, curveballs in here Maresca could throw. He might say, look, this is Bayern Munich away. I'm going to play he has done this every now and again. He's played like a conventional 4-3-3 out of nowhere. And when he does, he'll like throw a Lavia or a Santos in midfield to join Caicedo and Fernandez. I don't think he's going to do that. I wouldn't mind it at all. I mean, and we haven't seen Lavia, we haven't seen Lavia play any minutes, so I'm not suggesting for a moment he's just going to spawn out of nowhere and play for Chelsea in this high profile away Champions League game against Bayern. But like, so maybe Santos in the future. I want Chelsea to rely on Santos and Lavia so they can, one of the two can join Fernandez and Caicedo in midfield. God forbid, like imagine one day we need to be really careful. We're going to be really clever in a game, and we play a midfield of Caicedo, Santos, and Lavia. Even Asugo, of course, who had surgery and is not available in there, So you just don't know, man. Let's talk. Look, is it just going to be? I think Fofana, the 45 minutes against Brentford to see him play some games doesn't mean he's going to start here. I know. Like me, Maresca loves Fofana, but it's going to be a little while till we see him in good operating form, so I don't see him starting here. I would love to see Joshua Champon get some minutes, but I don't think it's going to be starting against Bayern Munich. So it's going to be Chalobah, Trev Chalobah. It's going to be... Oh, what? How'd you get here, mate? Let's just do this and then we can swap them. It's going to be Tosin. It's going to be Tosin and it's going to be Chalobah. The big question is Reece James or Gusto. We know he started to use Gusto again in terms of playing with width. But Reece James is his boy. It's his captain. It's his guy to defend. And then because it could be, if he does do the Gusto, let's just build it with Gusto. Because that means, it means we'll do this. It means Gusto's going to hold the width. It means Chalobah can play in his preferred right centre-back role. It means Tosin can play in that central role where he uses his passes. And Cucurella, rather than getting forward, sort of defends a little bit more. But if if it was a weaker team, you could get forwards and overloads. So with that, let's just squeeze them down a little bit to make some more space. Caicedo will play in here. We're going to make a box. We're going to make a box when we're not inverting a midfielder. So let's just quickly finish this. João Pedro, of course, is going to start as a striker. Cole Palmer is going to play this game. There's absolutely no way, especially after he came off the bench and looked. Cole Palmer is going to play. So we're to attack with 5 and defend with 5. We're going to need Caicedo to be Enzo to be more reserved. I think Esteval starts this game. We've seen him training, which means this is how we create the box midfield. Esteval plays in the right pocket. Cole Palmer plays in the left. Gusto would hold the width on the right, which means a conventional winger would hold the width on the left, which, of course, in this instance, we're not going to trust Gittins. We're not going to see Garnacho start. We're going to see Neto play out of position. So that is, in possession, a box midfield, yeah? Now, we could, of course, see different iterations of this. The way we would do that is let's move players around a little bit into a back 4 again. But instead of Gusto, we're going to go with Reece Flames, the captain. Good defensive and high-profile games, yeah? And suddenly, we're going to have Esteval as a right winger. We're going to have Palmer in the number 10. And we're going to have Neto there. Or we could see Reece James starting into midfield. So we can, in possession, we've seen this. Again, let me just move all this around. So suddenly you could see Reece James going into midfield, that being the base of your box midfield. He's inverting Chalobah's preferred right centre-back, Cucurella tucking in again, and you've got an inverter now. And then you've got Cole Palmer playing in his preferred right pocket, and Enzo Fernandez playing in that left pocket there. This makes a lot more sense, because this is what Maresca likes in terms of seeing Fernandez. This is really highly likely, actually, in possession shape, because everyone's comfortable. Chalobah likes being there. I think he's better when he's not being played out of position as a left centre-back. Tosin is essentially that central ball-playing centre-back when in possession, and of course he's tall as well, so it's just good to have a tall centre-back centrally. Cucurella tucking in, being defensive. Reece James playing in that CDM with Caicedo, dictating play, protecting from transition, and also, if needs be, getting back to right back. Chalobah can tuck in. And then literally, Fernandez, this is Fernandez's favourite spot. That left pocket, a little bit more reserved than like a playmaker, whether it's a Palmer or an Esteval. Again, Neto's out of position. We want a proper left winger there, but he can play well there. I would see him there. And then probably the most important thing here is, unlike Brentford, that left-hand side here is infinitely better. Fernandez and Neto and Cucurella, senior superstar Chelsea players over Buonanotte, Hatto and Gittins. It's a whole different sport, those three. And on the right-hand side, of course, you've got Caicedo and James locking it down. On the right-hand side, you've got Chalobah won't be going up much, but you've got Palmer and Esteval. They're both essentially the same profile player in terms of positional. Esteval will play more as a winger in terms of byline, get to the ball, and they can swap. They can swap comfortably, and they're both occupying their two favourite roles there. And to me, that, ladies and gentlemen, is your perfect lineup for Bayern Munich. You can have your substitute appearances from, Garnacho. I'd probably leave. Gittins will be chomping at the bit to play at Bayern because he's played them loads. Maybe we see him. You could see defensive changes. Maybe you see a Santos. Maybe you see a Mark Gu at the end if we need someone to run around. I don't know. But there's options there. I actually think that's really, really good. Look, this is why I was really annoyed about the freaking Brentford, because I think it's this, I hate to say it, but I do feel it's a little bit of a sort of free hit, which sounds dumb, but I do kind of think that a draw would be amazing. It's our hardest fixture in the league phase. We've got, of course, Barcelona, but it's at home. And you're just buying away. The buying away is the hardest, I think. So if you get a draw, you're laughing. If you get a draw, happy days. So I don't think, Maresca's going to play to stink up and play for a draw, but I think he can be more reserved. I think maybe he'll do a little bit of a game plan that he did like against PSG in the Club World Cup final, hit the channels and try and get them there. I'd love to say a win. I don't think we'll win, but I think we'll look good. And I'm going to say like a really credible 1-1 draw in what is a good game where both teams are going at each other. And, we're not warmed up yet into the season. We're away from home, and I'll be very happy with a 1-1 draw. But, of course, if we go there and slap them, I'll be happy as Larry. Let me know your thoughts, though. Please do leave them down in the comment section below. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for supporting. And, of course, there's daily content on the second channel, mon deuxième chaîne. Celui-là, Football Yannick on YouTube. Check it out if you want my non-Chelsea takes, of which I have many. Right! Mein Bruders, mein Schwesters, mes frères, merces. I don't know. See you later. Peace.